Today, we're going to be reading some Let's Not Meet stories. Both of these stories are about crazy ex-boyfriends, and these seem bad. These stories were both submitted to my subreddit, so these are your stories. And if anyone else has any crazy stories they want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. Hopping into it, this first story says, "To my ex that tried to kill me and didn't get away with it, but still tries to contact me, let's not meet again. Trigger warning, severe physical abuse, language, drug mention, SA. This finally ended about 12 years ago. So, I was dating a guy that I thought I loved and thought he felt the same way, but he showed me otherwise. I was with the guy, Jay, for almost 5 years. I was an addict at the time, and after a while, I found out he was too. When it started, I thought he was the best. He protected me, loved me, was there for me during some of the roughest times of my life. He was my Superman. My world other than my kids. I have 4 kids and he had 3. I was addicted to H at the time. It all started with little things, like he would get mad if he thought I had more. He started with hitting and punching walls, or worse, if he didn't have any drugs to do. Then he started holding me down so I couldn't answer my phone when my family would call. I couldn't see them or hang out with them. He was isolating me. The first time he hurt me, it was with a phone. His dad had tragically passed. He had killed himself, oh my god. The day of his dad's viewing, we were getting ready to go to the funeral home to view him with the family and friends. I told him we didn't need to go under the influence, and he threw his phone at my knee and cracked my bone. I couldn't walk, but he literally made me go to the funeral. I couldn't walk, so he literally carried me into the funeral home, and when his family saw that I was hurting, they were mad and they threatened to call the police on him. They didn't, and he made me leave with him. Nobody would help. We went back home and it started then. He beat me for the first time because I embarrassed him in front of his family and I made them mad at him. I understand why his family was scared. He even knocked his mom's 4 front teeth out of her mouth, which I learned after the fact. He would beat me for anything or nothing. The last time was the day of my oldest son's birthday party. Myself, my sister, her friend, and the friend's 6-month-old baby had went to pick him up from his mom's to go to the party. I had learned to live with the physical abuse and learned to hide the bruises and any other marks, bite marks, black eyes, handprints all over me, my teeth knocked out, and all types of physical abuse, mental and emotional. We were in a 2-door BMW. Me, Jay, and the baby in the car seat was in the back. My sister was driving, her friend was also in the back. The phone calls and messages between us while we were on the way to pick him up were all over the place, so I asked him if he was high. That made him furious. We went to his mom's to pick him up, and we headed towards my house where my kids were waiting on us to get the party started. About 5 minutes away from the party, he started acting weird. He told me I was cheating on him. I was lying to him, and he knew it. I told him if he was going to act out, then we would take him back to his mom's. He said he was sorry and felt like I didn't love him. I begged and pleaded with him to believe me that I did love him. He tried to make me kiss in a very sexually intense way in front of my sister and her friend. I didn't like that, so I pulled away. He grabbed my face and said, "See, I knew it. You are cheating." I'm not a PDA type of person. At that time, my sister turned on a road about 3 roads away from my house. As we turned, he leaned in with the turn and just started punching me in the face. My sister turned into a busy parking lot with a strip mall in it. He continued to hit me in the face and head. I cried out and tried covering my face. The car stopped. He flew into the back of the front seat. My sister jumped out trying to get the seats up to pull him off of me. The seats were stuck and wouldn't fold up because when he flew into them, they locked. I fell over the baby's car seat because they couldn't get him out, or the car seat because it was jammed. I didn't want to hurt the baby. I protected the baby boy while getting beat in the head. My sister got the seat up and had him in a chokehold. I grabbed the baby out of the car seat and passed him to his mom. I was almost out of the car when he head-butted my sister, knocking her front tooth out, and started kicking me in the head with steel-toed boots on. What the hell? What the fuck, you guys? I was going in and out, blacking out multiple times. I managed to climb out of the passenger side door because I remember it was a 2-door car. I ran. I looked back, and before I knew it, bam. He football tackled me to the ground. My sister ran to us and was fighting him off, or at least trying to. This was the worst part. I went out, and the last thing I remember was him stomping my head into the concrete parking lot, calling me a fucking whore. I didn't love him, and if he couldn't have me, nobody could. I went out, and my life was literally flashing in front of me. My childhood, my kids, my life. Luckily, there were 2 angels that saved my life because I eventually came to. My sister was dragging me to the car, and I looked around, and he was slowly walking away, headed towards the direction of my house. The two ladies that saved us happened to be at work at an in-home healthcare place, and they were out back and they had seen everything. They called the police. I got up and me and my sister ran back to the car. They yelled at us to come in and they would lock the building. We ran for our lives as he was still slowly walking away. My sister told them to hide me in case he came back. I was in a back room and was gasping for my life. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't see because my eyes wouldn't open no matter how hard I tried. I screamed for my sister to make sure she was okay. She ran to me and I cried holding her. She had saved my life along with these two strangers. The police came and found him, headed to my house. I went to the hospital with a broken nose, fractured eye socket, broken ribs, a cracked skull, multiple concussions, multiple contusions, and started having seizures from the damage. Oh my God, you guys. When I finally got out of the hospital, I looked so bad. I lied to my children for years and told them that I was in a car accident. It still plays in my head. To this day, when my youngest ran out to see me, he dead stopped and said, "That's a monster." I lost it. I cried. He wouldn't come to me until I spoke, but he was still scared. Jay was in jail with a $250,000 bond, and I thought I was safe. The witness advocate called me because he wanted a bond reduction, and we had court 2 days later. Come to find out, while in jail, he told another inmate that he was going to get out, and when he did, he was going to break into my house, tie me up, kill my kids one by one in front of me, kill me, then kill himself. He received a no bond because when we went in front of the judge, it was the drugs. It wasn't him. He didn't mean to. He loved me, and he loved my kids. The inmate finally told what he threatened, and the judge gave him a no bond hold. He went to prison for only 2 years for 2 counts of SA on a female for me and my sister, and to never have contact with us again. He got out, and I had moved to the country in the middle of nowhere. He found me. He would stand outside of my home and either Facebook message me, letting me know what I was wearing, what I was doing, who was around, or anything like that. He stalked me for years, and by the time police came, he was always gone. Come to find out, he was dating a neighbor's daughter. They didn't believe me about how dangerous he was. It's been almost a year since he tried to make contact with me. He would use other people's Facebooks, Snapchat, Instagram, or any social media to contact and harass me and scare me. I've heard he has cancer now. I still don't wish bad on anyone because I believe strongly in karma, but you reap what you sow. Karma's real, so to Jay, the guy that ruined my life, almost killed me and stalked me, I hope we never meet again. I was with him for 5 years, so I thought it was because of the drugs as well, but I was stupid and in denial. I put up with countless beatings, hid it very well because I loved him. I learned it was because I was used to it and him. It wasn't love because love doesn't hurt, especially like that. My kids now know the truth and they're in their early 20s. I've finally learned to love myself, but I still look over my shoulder at times because it's real. The fear will always be there. I love your YouTube channel. I've listened for years. It still affects my relationship because it's hard to trust. I'm still learning, still trying, but I finally feel like I can share my story because I know there's people out there who go through this. You need to get away, run, leave. Tell people don't hide the trauma for them. Let's never meet again. That has to be one of the most horrific stories I have ever read. I know okay, here's my thing. I know I say that a lot, but I have never in my life read something like that. And the fact that he is not still in prison, he almost beat you to death. The fact that that man is still not in prison, I have no hope for this fucking country. That is unbelievable. I'm like mad. I'm like so mad. I'm gonna hit him with my car. Okay, and my boyfriend just texted me. He's coming home for lunch. I'm filming. So I need to get through this quickly. This is the second story. This one is also, I don't know, it seems so bad. This says my ex-boyfriend SA'd me. I had to go to the ER and then he ghosted me and broke up with me via text. Trigger warning, SA and gore. Hi Courtney, been a fan since the T days. I love your vibes and your content. Keep up the good work. I've seen your videos about traumatic ex-boyfriend stories, so I thought I would share mine. I met my ex-boyfriend when finishing undergraduate college. I was getting my bachelor's in psychology at the time. I now have almost completed a master's in clinical mental health counseling with a master's certificate in college/student affairs work. Anyways, I had seen the guy around campus and would talk in passing. He was pleasant enough, but never really thought too much about anything. I had my disabled father. I take care of him, so during college I had to bring him with me and let him be in the break room while I was in class. He thought the guy was nice enough, but always wanted me to be more careful/cautious. That's a parent's point of view. A side story is that there was a guy I knew from high school who helped me a lot and was always the person I could lean on. He and I had talked over Snapchat, and he had confessed to having a huge crush on me back in school. He was being really flirty then, and when I asked, he was clearly still carrying a torch for me. To be honest, I did him, and still do. We had an intimate conversation, leaving out the details, haha, and then reality sank in. We were a crazy distance apart, and he felt we would never really be able to see each other again, and he isn't the kind who could do long distance. I was upset. I went off on him and accused him of playing me, and I was just another notch in his bedpost. And he said that I should know it wasn't like that, which I knew, but that made it more sad. That we really did have feelings for each other. I still do for him, but the circumstances were just fucked. With that backstory, now we go to one fateful day when I was in my campus library with my friend. We had a class together and were study buddies. I had seen the guy, who became my boyfriend, then ex, on a computer, and I said hey to him and made small talk. My friend came over too and started selling me to the man, telling him how I was getting a psych degree and I would make all this money. Anyways, he became friendlier and gave me his number. We met up and ate a few times, sometimes just me and him, sometimes my friend from class joined. It was kind of chill, hanging out and all that. Then, one day, he had a class and I started liking him more, so I decided to wait until his class let out because he wanted to ask me something. I waited, and so when he got out of class, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes and was over the moon, my dumb ass, and we kissed. My ass was ecstatic. I was through the goddamn roof, and I thought that maybe my high school crush was right. We just needed to move on, since it was hopeless for us anyways. So we started dating, and things were okay, but I started to see cracks. I ignored them, of course. For example, when I told my then boyfriend that I started in nursing school, then switched paths to psychology, he said, "Oh, so you're a quitter? You couldn't hack it?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just teasing you. It's a joke, chill out." So I laughed it off as teasing, but it wasn't teasing. Then it came to the time that more action was gonna happen. We went on a date and went back to the dorm. I have to admit I was curious and wanted to know how it would feel and be, so I was down to get frisky. We do, and there wasn't much lube. So we decided, I'm like, how much detail is this gonna go into? What we did have started to burn down there, but he told me that was supposed to do that. It wasn't, but I didn't know. We started doing the deed, and it was hurting, and I felt really uncomfortable. I told him that I wanted to stop. He said, "It's supposed to hurt," and he kept going. When we were done, I got off him and was gushing blood. I was instantly in shock and couldn't believe it was real. He got a blanket that I laid on the floor, and he got a towel and applied pressure down there, and I was freaking out. I told him to call my parents, and he did. He told them I was sick and not feeling well and would be with him a bit longer. My parents were alarmed, but just told him that if I didn't get better, to not be afraid to call an ambulance. They were on their way to where he and I were. He did call an ambulance for me, so I called my parents back and told them what happened, without the essay details. Just said it was an accident. I was blaming myself since I agreed in the first place, and they were on their way to meet us at the hospital. The EMTs were traumatized themselves when they saw me and said that they've never seen anything like this in their career. They asked if it was my first time. I said yes, because it was. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna be messed up for the rest of your life, mentally speaking." Why would they say that? I got to the ER and they had to call the gyno for emergency surgery, and what happened was an artery got torn down there. The placement of my artery was not as tucked into my coochie wall as it should have been, so I was more prone to something like that anyways. My ex-boyfriend was shaking like a leaf and was telling my parents I was an attention seeker while I was in the OR being operated on. You know, life-saving surgery. Attention seeker is, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I got out and was recovering, and they were supposed to give me 3 bags of blood but only had 1. They just gave me the one that they had. I'm chronically anemic because of that now. Anyways, after that, it was summer and my ex-boyfriend went to visit family and stuff. We were supposed to keep in touch, but he didn't. He basically started ghosting me. I reached out, and of course, I was strong on my stance that I didn't want to have sex again until married. I wanted plenty of time to recover and see where the relationship goes. Well, eventually he told me, "When I said I loved you, I never did. It was just lust. I think we need to break up." Of course, I hated that it had to be that way. With the ghosting, I felt like it was gonna end, but a part of me was hoping it wouldn't. But alas, it is what it is. It took a long time for me to realize what happened to me was SA, and it was not okay. That was when I was 22, 23. I'm about to turn 32 July 15th this year. I have mentally come a long way since then. So, to my ex-boyfriend who basically fucked me to death and traumatized me and talked shit about me behind my back to my parents, let's never meet again. My boyfriend is pulling into the garage right now. I will discuss this in a little bit. You're not even gonna know I'm gone. I'm back. I wanna say to both of you, oh my god, I'm so sorry that you had to experience this. This story specifically though, I am glad that you realized that that wasn't okay and that was not normal. What a traumatic experience. Needing life-saving surgery because of this. I wish there was a way that he could have gotten in trouble. I know that you didn't realize it was SA right away, but I just wish there would have been some way to get that man in trouble. Oh my god. I am so glad that you are doing better now. You said you've mentally come a long way since then. I am so happy for you. And to both of you, I'm very glad that you're in a place where you feel comfortable enough to share this with me and the community we have here. I am so genuinely sorry. Like, nobody should ever have to go through this kind of stuff. It truly just breaks my heart. But that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. That feels weird to say. I like read these awful stories and I'm like, hope you liked it. I'm gonna start saying, that's all I have for now. I hope you hated it. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you guys have any other stories that you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. But other than that, I'm gonna go. I love you guys so very much. So much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.